This is Anna coming in from the YMCA Concord and also White Pine Athletics and Granite State Endurance Project. Shout out to you guys. Anyway, I am here for Athletic Stretch. Now, before we get started, I want to talk about next Thursday, next week. So some housekeeping before we are done. I want you guys to grab a foam roller for Thursday next week. We're going to do some Thursday foam rolling work. So stretching for athletes with a foam roller, come in next week. So if you guys have one, great. If not, Amazon, I think, is still doing 2 days. This one is Trigger Point Therapy brand. You don't have to get this one, but I recommend it because it has PVC piping inside and medical grade neoprene on the outside. I've had this one for about almost 10 years now. It's indestructible. I prefer the open PVC pipe core because it doesn't break down over time. I'm a firm believer of getting what you pay for. So next week, okay, get a foam roller if you don't have one. Otherwise, it should no longer be that doorstop. All right. Oh, good. Hey, Chris. Yeah, foam roller stretch 1 week from today. I want to give everybody a chance to go home and order one from Amazon or curbside pickup from wherever. I don't know, Dick's is still open. Is that still considered necessary or essential business? I don't know. But anyway, so here we are. Athletic stretch. Next week, foam rolling. Today, we're going to focus on your hip complex. We're going to be stretching the hip complex today in a way that is going to build upon what we did last week. And we're going to work on hip openers, and we're going to work on your hip flexors, hip extenders, right? Extensors, so the hip flexors that are stretching through. We're going to work on glutes, hip internal and external rotation, and hamstrings and quadriceps. So these are some of our biggest, tightest areas. And of course, if you guys have any in particular area that you want me to focus on, by all means, please let me know. Comment below, let me know you're here. And don't forget, next week, foam roll. But for now, we're gonna do some hip work. So the idea is to focus on your body and see what's going on with you. Knowing your own individual movement patterns, knowing your own personal tightest muscle groups is half the battle. So being aware of your movement pattern, being aware of your own body, that's kind of the takeaway from this. I always find that in my experience, I always find one leg is a little tighter than the other sometimes. One hip is one tighter than the other sometimes. And I'd imagine that a lot of you feel that way as well. So we're going to focus on getting those left and right areas. So if you guys are ready for it, I'm going to start with some dynamic warm-up movements. And these are part of a stretch routine that I will do prior to exercise. So prior to race day, prior to a heavy workout, whether it be run or swim or bike or hike or play tennis or whatever it is that you guys are doing for your athletic movements, having a good dynamic warm-up is really important. And getting that hip complex to fire is really important as well. So that's what we're going to start with. So everybody come on up. And the first thing that we'll do is start with 10 easy squats. So 10 easy squats. And squatting can be its own thing in and of itself. Knowing where your body is in space, keeping yourself stacked. So ears, shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles. Really nice and straight. Good. 2 more. Down. And 1. Good. So now we're going to work through. I want you to stand on one leg. You're going to take this leg, reach behind. Now, the tendency is to want to do one of this, right? So I want you to use your glute to stand up really straight. And then from the side, you're going to bend forward, reach for the toe, touch, and come up. Good. Now, the idea is not to hinge over and not to fall over. So from the front, here we go, right? So we're going to touch, and let's try this 10 times. 10, 9, 8, good. 7, 6, 5, woohoo! 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now switching sides. Stand on this leg. Try not to let your hip drop, but use your glute to push up and together. Ear, shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle. 10 touches. 10, 9, 8, woohoo, 7, 6, 5, here we go, 4 more, 4, 3, 2, good, and 1. Excellent. So if you feel like your body is like wibble wobbling all over the place, think about focusing on your glutes and squeezing the hips together and keeping that nice solid straight line. So who's in watching? Here we go. Hi Jen, hey Bob. It's good to see you guys. Hope you're well. Welcome to the 27th Saturday of the zombie apocalypse, and we're here doing some athletic stretching. We just opened up with a good hip dynamic warm-up. We're going to keep adding to this hip dynamic warm-up. So what we just did was a classic hip hinge with lateral stability. So that is what you're looking for. All right, you guys. So now you're going to take one leg and cross it over. Balancing act. You're going to sit, okay? Bring your chest towards your ankle and stand. So from the side, sit and stand. Sit and stand. So we're going to do that 10 times and see how that feels. So the idea is that with each pass, you're getting your body warmed up. Good. 9, 8, good. Keep going. Doggies, no more. Sorry, we had a dog miss hint, so in we go. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now we're going to switch sides. Same thing. So crossing that leg over, think about chest towards the heel, hinge forward. 10, 9, good. 8, 7, keep that up. 6, 5, woo, feels really good. 4 more. 3, oh, wow, started cramping. Woo, that tells me I need to do this more. 2, good, and 1, excellent. So I started to feel that cramp right in that back glute, and that tells me that I'm not stretching enough. So that's good that we both need this, all of us. Oh my goodness. So hopefully that felt okay for you. So that was your external rotations. So now we're going to do some internal rotation work. So what that is, these are your classic barn door stretches. So the knee comes out, up, and to the side. So we're going to do that 10 times. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Same thing on the other side. Open, up, and together. So open, up, and together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Now we're going to turn to the side, and we've got swing kicks. So this is a hip extension and flexion. So I want you to think about, instead of arching and rounding through the back, you're isolating through the hip pelvis structure. So you're going to hold your core in tight. So that's that abdominal bracing that we do. So 2 fingers here, cough out loud, right? And tighten through that core, embracing, engaging that transverse abdominis, that innermost muscle group. And thinking about just isolating through the hip, which means that your range of motion is not as great. So if I were to engage through the back, right, I can look like I get way more range. But all I'm doing is flexing and extending the spine and not isolating through the hips. So what I want you to think about is rigid, tight, and controlled through the core, working and focusing on the hips. So forward, and back. So we're gonna do this 10 times, okay? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Now we're going to try the other side. So same thing, focusing on tightening through the core and just isolating that hip. So lift and extend. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. How does that feel, guys? Hopefully this is good. All right, you guys, I'm going to say hi to everybody who's here. Hey, Carl. Hi, Renee, Megan, and Mallory. Hey, you guys. It's good to see you. I really miss you all. I hope you're well. Oh, you're on Zoom. Oh, whoops. Was this supposed to be Zoom instead of Facebook? Sorry, guys. I guess, my bad. Next time. So if we send out the word Facebook, I'll make sure I connect with you guys earlier. Anyway, but stretching for the athlete, we're working on the hip complex today. The hip complex is one of the tightest muscle groups. Oh, I know. It's good. Hip flexors, hip extenders, rotation, internal and external, and adduction, abduction. So your hips move in all different directions, right? So they move outward and inward, forward and backwards, and they also circumduct, which is around and around and around. And hi, I found you guys. It was on Facebook. It's Facebook. Sorry, my bad. But so for those of you just joining, next week, bring a foam roller or buy one. They're not that expensive on Amazon, and I'm pretty sure they're still doing the 2-day thing. Or if Dick's is still open, I don't know. But if you get one, you have a week to figure it out. And if you don't have one, that's what your time frame is. Pull this away from the doorstop, stop using it as a drying rack, and we're gonna actually use it. All right, back to it. So I want you to think about your hip complex and knowing that for you. So we just did a series of openers, okay? Dynamic stretches, dynamic warm-ups. And having a good warm-up routine gets you prepared and ready for exercise. And it also helps you identify where you are in your body's kind of tightness, where you're feeling. Good. Okay, Alice, for the record, thank you. Yes, 2-day Amazon, absolutely. And Dick's is curbside pickup. Perfect. So get a foam roller, and as I was saying earlier, I recommend the ones with the rigid PVC open center because of their durability. I've had this one for about 10 years, and it's still pretty perfect. So you get what you pay for. If you want a $10 foam roller, you're gonna get $10 worth of use. So just saying. And Devin, good idea. Also foam rollers at Target. Last week, they have several options. Awesome. Excellent. So get something that works for you guys, and we'll go from there a week from today. But anyway, getting back to now, we're working through your adductors, abductors. So you're going to stand up, take a nice wide stance, and your toes are facing forward. I want you to think about the knee over the toe and the nose over the hip, knee, and toe. So as you lean in, you're stretching through this inner thigh here, but maintaining proper spinal and hip alignment here. So stand and sit. Standing, sitting. Good. So we're going to do this 10 times back and forth. 10, 10, 10. And again, you can modify. If you need more of that stretch, by all means go for it. If you need less, go for it. It's up to you, side to side. But the idea is to keep that nose over the hip. So if I were to do this here, right, nose, knee, toe. Nice straight lines, okay? So 10, 9, 8, 7, try to get a little lower, 6, 5, 4, good, 3, get low, 2, good, and 1. Now, inside done. Now we're going to work the outside. So you're going to cross one leg over. This is the side we're working towards. You're going to push into that hip, lean over, and then other side. Push into this hip, lean over. Excellent work. Good. Cross the other side. This is the side we're working. Lean. Good. And then other side. Lean. Push into that hip. Good. I do a nice little like neck thing here too, because again, neck is a shoulder neck complex, something else that we work with. I tend to feel this as well. So when I'm here, I kind of get 2 birds, 1 stone. Good. We're going to do that again. So this time I want you to think about focusing on, we're going to do right over left and stick on that left leg. So you're going to lean in, push through the hip, and lift through the rib cage. Good. Now, it's not about the depth, it's about breathing, and it's about feeling that stretch through the outside of the hip. Good. We're going to try the other side. Cross that leg over and sink into that hip and lift through the rib cage. So it's not a hinge over, but you're lifting through the rib cage, keeping that balance. Good. Push into that hip. Good. And up. So let's see. We got a couple comments. What do we have? Runner's Alley. Yes, absolutely. Shout out to Runner's Alley. Please get a foam roller from them if you want to, if you don't have one. Some other locals that might have one. I'm not sure if Joe King's maybe. I'm not sure. Another good sporting goods store, but Runner's Alley for sure. I know they have it. So shout out, say hi to the folks there if you can. Curbside pickup, I know they do. So give them a call. Perfect. All right. Now, the last thing we haven't done is hip flexors. Hip flexors by far are some of the worst muscle groups that work with because they're such a unique complex. So the hip flexors connect from the top of the hip bones in the hips and connect to the top of the femurs, right? And they're responsible for this movement. So they also attach back here in your spine. So this is why people can sometimes have low back pain if they have tight hip flexors. There's more than one way to stretch these guys, but I'm going to give you a really good running specific or athlete specific kind of stretch for this that's dynamic, which means with movement, and then I'll give you a static stretch, which means without movement. So first things first, the dynamic movement. What we're going to do is take a giant step forward, and I mean like as wide as you can. Boom. Okay. And I want you to bring this leg behind you using your glutes. So it's not about focusing on the push forward. It's about focusing on the pull back through the glutes. Now posture, ear, shoulders, and hips. And you're going to sink into that stretch. Arm comes up and lean. Now the lean might not feel so good, so you can rotate if that helps get that stretch for you, or you can simply stay here, whatever works. So from the front, take a nice giant step forward and push through with the glute, pull back, get that posture, and lean. Woo, I certainly haven't been stretching this one lately. So take a nice big deep breath in, inhale up, exhale down, feel that stretch. Try to sink into it a little bit more. Inhale, exhale. Woo, feels awesome. Inhale, exhale. Nice. Couple more big breaths. Inhale, exhale. Last one. Inhale up, exhale down. Ooh, awesome. Now, are you ready to take this stretch to the next level? I think you are. So you're going to push forward into that hip, okay? Reach behind, and you're going to grab that heel. If this is too intense, that's totally fine. Grab a towel or a strap. A bath towel will work, anything. And I want you to stand up straight, straight, straight. Drive that heel in towards the butt. Stand up straight. And this is definitely some balance work. So work your way up to it. And you should feel that stretch come right down into that quad. Oh my goodness. Woohoo! This will get your attention. So breathe in, exhale down. Breathe in, exhale down. Excellent work, you guys. Breathe in, exhale down. One more time, you got it. Breathe in, exhale down, and relax back. Oh my gosh, wow. That feels incredibly good. So now we're gonna switch legs. So take that big step forward. Oof. Feel that stretch in the hip flexor, right? So get low as you can. And when you're ready for it, you can lean over or rotate if that feels more comfortable for you. It's up to you. And I want you to sit into it and breathe into that stretch, feeling it all through that front of the hip. Whew. I'm like sweating. Wow, there are times where you're doing your stretches, and when you're doing them correctly and you're doing the right ones that are the most effective for you as an athlete, you know the difference, right? You might be here, I could sit here forever and I'm not getting anything done. I'm not getting any benefit. I'm not doing anything. Versus when you target the areas that are your weakest links and you're like, whew, you know it. You feel it, you know it. So now we're gonna get into it a little bit more. Lean over, or if it feels comfortable rotating, that's fine too. Stretch, breathe, inhale, exhale. One more time, inhale, exhale. Good. And come on down to the knee. And now we're gonna up the ante. So either grab your strap, grab your towels, whatever it might be, reach behind. You're gonna grab that heel. And again, this is about balance and coordination. And you're gonna bring that heel in towards the buttocks and nice and straight posture. Feel that stretch go right down into the quadricep and breathe into it. Good. This is intense. Work your way up to it. If this is not comfortable in a bad way, bad pain, not good. Deliciously uncomfortable is perfection, but bad pain, don't do it. Work your way up and modify until you feel it. Breathe in. One more. Breathe in. And done. Oh, wow. That felt pretty awesome, actually. Now that it's over, now that we're done, oh my goodness, it must feel pretty good. So I want to know how you're feeling. I want to know what's going on with you guys. So at the end of this, we can do a specific target. I want to know how you feel in terms of your hips, and if you feel like your hips are any better or any worse or whatever that is. Just talk to me. Talk to the extrovert people. This is just me yapping away in my living room, so I want to feel like you guys are with me too. So now we're going to work on a secondary hip flexor. So this is a static stretch. So we just worked through dynamic. Now we're going to work through static. The difference is dynamic means with movements and static means still. So we're going to lean back and your legs are wide, okay? Legs are wide. So, sorry, I had to hang up on a phone call. Not now, I'm working. All right, so lean back, knees are wide, and you're gonna drop your right knee down towards the center. And you can do what you want with your heels. The higher up your heel, the more quadricep you're gonna get. And you're gonna take your outside leg and assist. Push through the hip and inhale, exhale, relax. Now, many of you might feel that through the hip and many of you might feel that in your lower back. Now, it's not a bad thing if you feel it in your lower back, unless it's a bad pain, then don't do that. Just release the pressure of the stretch. And the idea is that you are in total control. You're in total control of how much or little tension you're creating in your own body. So just remember to breathe into it and kind of sit in that deliciously uncomfortable space. So as I'm here, dropping that knee down, pulling the knee and resisting a little bit, keeping the hips in good alignment. My spine is in good alignment. Breathe in, exhale, let it go. Breathe in, exhale, let it go. So I want you to go through 3 breath cycles here. Good. 2 more. Last one. Good. Ugh. Wow, Lordy. So now take note of how you feel between your left and right sides. Hopefully you feel pretty good. Hopefully you feel like there's a difference. And that your side that you just stretched out feels a little bit more loosey-goosey, and that you have a little bit better range of motion there. So now we're gonna do the other side. So from this position, lean back. You're gonna drop your knee down and try to bring that knee down towards the center. Whatever you do with your heel is fine. The higher up it is, the more quadricep stretch you get. Bring that heel down. And feel that pull through the lower back, not in a bad way, but in a deliciously uncomfortable stretch. Oof. Good. Breathe in. Exhale. Again, breathe in. Exhale. One more time. Breathe in. Exhale. Good. And release. Oh, Lordy, that feels awesome. Good. Now we're going to work through the inner thigh again. So we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Sit up nice and straight. And think about sitting back on your sits bones. You're not hinging too far forward and leaning more towards the pelvis, but really sitting back so that way your spine is really aligned over your pelvis. And from this position, you're going to hinge forward slightly. It's not a round and a roll, but it's a hinge forward. So what does that look like from the side? So you're sitting up straight, knees are away as fast as you can, as far as you can. But hinging up nice and straight, and then leaning and hinging forward from the hip. So it's subtle, right? So it's a subtle movement. I'm not rounding and rolling, but I'm subtly hinging forward. So think about getting your heels in towards your groin as close as you can, dropping the knees away. You can certainly give them an assist if you like, okay? And hinge forward, breathe in through the nose. Out through the mouth, and really try to get more range of motion with every breath. Let the knees fall away. Inhale, exhale. Good. 2 more, just like this. Inhale, exhale. Good. Now, what is the muscle group that we have been neglecting? Can anybody guess? Before we get into it, it's in the leg. That's a hint. So, thinking about what your body is doing. Can anybody guess? This is just me talking to myself in my living room. It's the back side of the leg. It's made up of 3 muscle groups, and it helps bring your heel close up to your butt. And it's something that we pull from time to time. Bob says hamstring. Ding, Yahtzee! Ding, 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 ding. Good job, Bob, you got it. Well played. So we're gonna stretch those hamstrings. All right, here we go. You're gonna bring one heel in, sit up nice and straight, hinge forward from the hip. So again, I don't care about touching your toes. It's not about the toe. You're going to walk forward, bringing your chest towards your upper thigh. So relax and breathe in. And now, because we are going to intensify what we did last week, inside hand comes to the inside of the foot, Let me back up so you can see what the heck I'm doing. Inside hand, and you're gonna open and rotate and lean into it. Ugh. Then when you're ready, bring both hands to the outside of the leg for more hamstring when you're ready. That's that intensification. Breathe in, exhale, ooh. Breathe in, exhale. Good. And then we're gonna go for the other side. So heel in towards the groin, pull the toe towards you, square off to the toe, sit up nice and straight, hinge forward from the hip, and breathe in, exhale. Again, it's not about touching your toes. I don't care if you touch your toes or not, it's fine. What I care about is that you are hinging forward from the hip, okay? Good, so breathe in, exhale. Now, again, to add to that intensity level, inside hand comes to the inside blade of the foot, open and rotate the spine and lean it over. Breathe in, breathe in. Good, come on up. Wow, now both hands to the outside of the hamstrings and have a seat lower, 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 lower. You're welcome. Woo! Good Lord. Oh, come on up. That felt excellent. How did you guys feel? I hope that was good for you guys. So, what time is it? Whoa. It is 11:37. Awesome. So I have 5 more minutes with you. So what is the muscle group that you want to work through right now? I got a couple more minutes with you. So we worked on the whole hamstring and quadricep and hip flexor, hip extensor, internal and external rotations. We did glute work. So I want you guys to think about what's something that's tight for you, that's outside of the hip complex, and also housekeeping. Next week, we're gonna do this. So grab your foam rollers. If you don't have one, then that's fine. You can certainly go for Amazon 2-day or shop local, go to Runner's Alley, or stop by Dick's or Target or whatever it is that works for you. And it looks like I'm getting, okay, so you guys want calves and shin splints. Awesome. All right, so we're gonna do lower leg stuff. Neck work. Come back next week, next Thursday. I swear to God, this is the reason why I survive days, okay? So I will show you a couple of amazing shoulder neck exercises that utilize this, okay? It'll be interesting, and I'll probably need to get like a camera helper, but we'll figure it out from there. So pay attention for next week for the neck and shoulder work. Oh man. And I'll tell you ahead of time that I love you very much, and I do it because I care. All right, so it looks like calf and shin splints for now. Tune in for next week for some shoulder and neck work with the foam roller. All right, so shin splints, what are they and why do we care, and how are they related to the calf, right? So here's what we got. So anytime you pull your toe up towards you, you're using this tibialis anterior, which is your shin splint muscle group, right? So whenever you pull or push off the toe, you're using this tibialis anterior. Now, when you point the toe, you're using your calf muscle, right? So there's 2 different types of calf muscles. There's your soleus and then your gastrocnemius. Gastrocnemius is what will flex your foot when your knee is straight, and the soleus is inside, it's deeper, it's closer to that bone, and that's what flexes your foot when your knee is bent. So that's why calves are so tight on runners, because when you're running, your knees are bent as you make that impact. And then let's add single leg, so all of your body weight is going into one ankle, right? Then you're adding impact, which is your body plus momentum plus gravity plus into the impact of the leg. So these are the muscles that are workhorses, and they just don't get a whole lot of attention. So we're going to give it to them. So my favorite calf exercise or stretch for specifically for runners, you're going to use a step, okay? And I have one here. So I'm sure you guys have stairs at your house, right? So go find a stair, and you're going to stand on the bottom edge of that stair, okay? All right, woohoo! And you're going to take this foot, and you're going to drive it down. Then you're going to bend the knee and straighten the knee. Bend the knee, straighten the knee, okay? And you're going to feel that difference right in that calf, okay, the whole time. So that's what I want you to think about. You're going to get that nice gastroc and your soleus in there. Now for the shin splints, this is a little different. So what I tend to do is using the stair, I push in to the toe and stretch through, okay? So if you can see that, what I'll do is press into the toe, okay? And push, okay? So from the front, what does that look like? Press. So I'm pressing in. So anything that stretches through the front of that foot. So I want you to think about doing those 10 times a piece, breathing in, breathing out, and working through those ankles. In addition, the last tidbit of the day is you're going to spell your name. A-N-N-A, cross. And then you're going to spell your last name. C-R-O-N-I with a dot. N. Okay. Now you got to do the other leg. The other leg, you're going to spell your favorite athlete. Go. First and last name. So no abbreviations, no Al's or Joe's. You got to go the whole way. You got to go all big or all go home. Favorite person, favorite athlete, your dog. But your dog's name can't be Al. That's the idea. So guys, I wanted to show you something to end this session, Stretching for Athletes with me. I wanted to show you something that I look at every morning, and it reminds me so much of you guys, and it reminds me so much of the positive energy that we have. So you're coming with me. This is what I see in the mornings. I have a beautiful vineyard out of my back window, and the vineyard reminds me of so much. I see the vines, and they look dead. There's no vegetation, there's no berries, there's no grapes yet. They just look like dead sticks coming out of the ground. And it makes me remind myself that during the hardest of times, no matter what happens, there's still so much life that comes from these plants. They're being worked on by the vineyard. And I just remind myself that we all need a little bit of work, and that's what we're doing. We are vines. You're a vine. And that's what I want to remind you, is that you're all works in progress. And even though it doesn't look like anything's coming, it's there, and it's inside all of us. And I find that to be a really comforting thought. So I get to see that, and I wanted to share it with all of you. So I'm thinking of you guys. I love you all so much, and I can't wait to see you soon. So in the meantime, be kind, love one another, love yourselves, and I will see you on Thursday. Don't forget your foam rollers. All right, you guys, much love, and I will see you soon.